Algebra 2, Chapter 3, Day 4. Solving by eliminations. Learning target. I will be able to solve systems of equations by elimination. So, what does the English word elimination mean? Elimination means that you are trying to get rid of one of the variables given in the equations. Eliminations means that you are trying to get rid of one of the variables. Eliminate. So let's take a look at example number 1. We have 2x plus y equals 4, 2x minus y equals 8. I'm going to do this particular problem, 1, in 2 ways to show you. And then you can choose the way you like, but I am using the eliminations to process the equations. So again, I'm not trying to confuse you. I'm showing you the way to do the problem, so pick the one you like. So first, I'm going to name my first equation as equation number 1. Second equation as equation number 2. So I noticed that the coefficient for first equation 1, y is 1 times y. The second equation is negative 1 times y. So if I add these two equations together, what happens? When you add, think about there's the equal sign between. So I'm going to add stuff to the right hand side with the stuff to the right hand side. Stuff on the left hand side, I added with the stuff on the left hand side. So this is just repeating the same equations. I'm going to add them together. So as you can see, 2x plus 2x, I have 4x. Y plus negative y, it's gone. It's being eliminated. So have I achieved the goal of eliminating one of the variables? Yes, I did. And then to the right hand side, 4 plus 8, which is 12. 4x equals 12. So originally we started with two equations, two variables, x and y. Now at this step, so I'm going to point it out, at this step we have 4x equals 12. One variable, one equation. Can you solve for the x? I hope you said the answer is yes, of course. Divide both sides by 4, we have x equal to 3. Once I have the information of x equal to 3, I can choose either one to plug it back in and then check my answers. So I have 2 times 3. I'm just going to plug it in the first one because y is a positive number. I like to work with positive number whenever possible. So 2 times 3, I have 6. 6 plus y equals 6. Equals 4, I'm sorry. Subtract 6. So my y is going to be negative 2. And I think I remind you for day 2 substitution method, make sure you check your solutions. So there's no better way than check your own solutions by plugging the equations to the second one. So let's just try it. 2 times 3 minus negative 2. Do we get 6 plus 2, which is 8? Matches up the given information for equation number 2. So the answer checked out. This was the first method. By noticing that the coefficient to the y is 1 for the first equation, the coefficient to the second one is negative 1. So I add them together. So that's method 1. How about if I take the first equation, subtract the second equation? Okay, notice that this time I'm subtracting. So I have 2x plus y equals 4. 2x minus y equals 8. So we subtract, okay? 2x minus 2x, so that's 0x. Y minus negative y. So please keep in mind you are subtracting. Y minus negative y becomes 2y. 4 minus 8, So that's -4. So again, have we achieved the goal of trying to eliminate one of the variables? So obviously, now we only have 2y equals -4. One variable, one equations. So we can go ahead and divide both sides by 2. 2y divided by 2, I have y. -4 divided by 2, we have -2. And then again, plug it back into the first equation. 2x minus 2 equals 4. As I add 2 to both sides, we have 2x equals 6. Then divided by 2. So x equals 3. Do we get the exact same result as the previous method? We should, of course. 3, -2 as the solutions. So just a quick recap of what we did with the example number 1. You can choose either to add the functions together, or you can either choose to subtract it. But keep in mind, which method do you like better? Question number 2. How do I eliminate one of the variables to solve for the problem? So like I did with the first example, I'm going to name my first equation as number 1, the second equation as number 2. And notice that the first equation, coefficient of y is 3, coefficient of number 2, y is -1. So what's the least common factors between 3 and -1? That's 3. So I am going to take the second equation, multiply it by 3. When you multiply the equation, make sure you multiply it to every term. So 6x times 3, I have 18x. -y times 3, that's -3y. 14 times 3, I have 42. So take another look. This equation that I just wrote is simply multiplying my second equation by 3. Then I'm going to copy down the first equation so that it's easier for me to do the calculations. I have the equations side by side. So have you noticed that the equation now, this one, for the y variable, it has a coefficient of -3. And then for this one, it has a coefficient of +3. How do I eliminate it? So -3 plus 3 equals 0. -3 plus 3 equals 0. So I should use the operation of adding them together to eliminate the y. My goal is to eliminate one of the variables. So 18x plus -x, I have 17x. 42 plus -8, that's 34. So again, I eliminate the variable y by adding them together because -3y plus 3y equals 0y. Now I'm down to 1 variables. So can I go ahead and divide both sides by 17? So 17x divided by 17, that's 1x. 34 divided by 17, that's 2. So we have the x values. I'm going to plug it back into the first equation. -2 plus 3y equals -8. Add 2 to both sides. So we have 3y equals -6. Divide both sides by 3. My y is going to be -2. My solution is going to be 2, -2. Don't forget to check your answers by plugging it back into the second equation. So 6 times 2 minus -2. Is it equal to +14? 6 times 2, I have 12. Minus -2 becomes +2. So 12 plus 2 is definitely 14. So it checked out. Always remember to check your answers. Always check your answers. Question number 3. So just like before, I'm going to name my first equation as number 1, the second equation as number 2. So which variable would you like to eliminate this time? Ask yourself this question. Which variable would you like to eliminate? So first equation, if you look, I have 2x. Second equation, I have 4x. What would be the least common multiples between 2 and 4? Is it easier to figure this one out compared to if you're trying to eliminate the y? So first equation, you have y equals 3y. Second one, you have negative 2y. What's the least common multiples between 3 and negative 2? 3 times 2, I have 6. So if you are trying to eliminate the variable y, you would have to multiply the first equation by 2. You have to multiply the second equation by 3 in order for you to have the same coefficient for both and y. Then you can eliminate it. But for the x, I only have to multiply the first equation by 2. So that's what I'm going to do. It'll save me a little time by eliminating the x first. So instead of eliminating the y, this time I'm going to eliminate the x. Multiply the first equation by 2. So remember, if you multiply, make sure you multiply to every term. So 2x times 2, that's 4x. 3y times 2, that's 6y. 4 times 2, that's 8. Second equation, copy it down. So I have 4x minus 2y equals negative 8. How do I eliminate the variable x? 4x minus 4x or 4x plus 4x? So ask yourself this question. Do I use addition or do I use subtractions? I have to use subtractions. So if you use subtractions, you have to subtract. So keep that in mind. 4x minus 4x, so it becomes 0x. 6y minus negative 2y. So you are subtracting negative 2. 6y minus negative 2y. 8 minus negative 8. 8 minus negative 8. Now, again, we eliminate the variable x. We are down to the variable y. Now we divide both sides by 8. So 8y divided by 8, I have 1y. 16 divided by 8, that's 2. Plug it back into, so I just choose the first equation. 2 times x plus 3 times 2 equals 4. 2x plus 6 equals 4. Subtract 6 to both sides. So I have 2x equals negative 2. X equals negative 1. So my solution should be negative 1, 2. Plug that into the second equation. 4 times negative 1 minus 2 times 2. Is it equal to negative 8? So 4 times negative 1, that's negative 4. Negative 2 times 2, that's negative 4. Negative 4 minus 4 is indeed negative 8. So again, it checked out. To recap of what we did for today's lesson, elimination. Think about the word elimination. I'm trying to get rid of one of the variables so that I can be down to one equation, one variables. Then I can solve the problem. One equation, one variables. And how did you achieve that? You have to look at the coefficient for each of the equations. Look for the least common multiples. Which equation, which process would give you the least amount of effort? Pick that one and then trying to eliminate that variables.